Hey everybody, Tom Barnish, Chicago scene on the terrace of the newest building in the Fulton Market district. I'm at 800 Fulton Market, and check that view out. That is the United Center out there, the West Loop, Fulton Market. This building dubbed Chicago's smartest building because it's got smart technology that you've never really seen before. You can do everything from an app, or the lights turn on and turn off, the air conditioning turns on and turn off all by itself. You don't need to call that building engineer and ask them to turn up the AC or anything like that. Things are different here, and I'm going to talk to Brian, who's the architect, and talk about how he's blended this building into its current surroundings, from the brick color to the height of certain levels of the building, all blending into what is the booming West Loop Fulton Market area. That's the Chicago scene now. Let's go inside and see what this looks like from the inside. All right, so I made my way back inside the lounge space here at 800 Fulton Market. I'm here with the architect. This is Brian. How are you, Brian?
Good, thank you.
Brian, this is something that it always blows my mind when I talk to architects. This was something that you just had in your head, and all of a sudden, here we are a couple years later, standing in this building that is absolutely stunning here in the right at the gates of the West Loop. So congratulations on completion here.
Oh, thank you very much. Let me first say that it's not just one guy's idea in his head. It's a huge undertaking by first our clients, Thor and Quadrille, who came to us and said, hey, we've got this incredible property in West Fulton Market, and what could you do with it? And we thought about it and really thought hard about how first we could do a building that really recognized all the wonderful qualities of the vibrant neighborhood that exists here right now. And so we developed a building that we think not only responded to the clients' ideas and goals and objectives, but also what the community wanted, which is really a building that fit into the neighborhood, and not only fit but enhance the neighborhood.
Right, no small feat getting a building built in Chicago, especially with a lot of people who have opinions on what the building should be. But you guys almost went out of your way to incorporate the way the neighborhood was to what the neighborhood is going to be, with just the elements of the building itself, with that tiered, how it sets back, where the first tier is in line with some of the older buildings in the neighborhood, and then it continues up from there.
Yeah, absolutely. The city had guidelines and kind of a story about what the building might be, but it was really clear to us that we had to do something different than what was the usual pattern of new commercial office buildings. So what we did is really recognize the scale. I would almost say really try to enhance the human scale, the human experience along walking on West Fulton Market.
Sure.
And that 2 and 3 story scale is really important for us to start the building at the base, activate it with lots of retail at the base of the building, and then step the building back in a series of terraces that form that gateway and really open space window back to downtown and also to the west.
Yeah, it's this beautiful way that you've done it architecturally, and it's not this giant imposing squared off building. And with all due respect to those buildings, they are beautiful in themselves, but this, for where you are located and the way you open up downtown to the west side of downtown, the Fulton Market and the West Loop, it's absolutely stunning. And you take that architecture and that theme not only from the outside with the I'm going to say it wrong, but homage almost to the not the Empire State Building, to the John Hancock Building with the crosses. What do you call that architecture with the steel beams exposed here?
They're kind of simply X-bracing, but our engineers did an incredible job of thinking about how the X-bracing might be a new generation of bracing, and we call it a high-waisted brace that then has a flexible connection at the center of the brace that allows it to move in and out during extreme temperatures.
Right, I think a lot of people think that's from the wind, but it's not necessarily the wind at all. It's about the extreme temperatures, especially as the building faces west and the sun in the summertime all day long. Right. It bakes it and warms it up, and that allows the building to breathe a little bit and shake it off.
Exactly right. And so it's another form of kind of a very efficient integrated architecture and engineering that less embodied carbon. We don't have to clad it, we don't have to insulate it, and it's really very honest in terms of how it functions. So we really love that idea of that kind of authenticity to the building.
And the authenticity continues in the lobby space, where you have it's a giant open space where you have almost like a floating deck for a mezzanine level. Then you have all these beautiful welcoming areas for anybody in the building to be able to use the meeting spaces and whatnot, and also certain people in the neighborhood could use as well.
Right. Instead of just doing a transition from the front door to the elevators, we thought, why can't we make this space a gathering space, a place that you would meet people, Maybe not even go up in the office space, but actually sit and talk with vendors or consultants or visitors. It's a place to get out of your workspace a little bit and come down to refresh and recharge yourself. And we think that space, that triple high space with a floating mezzanine, kind of acts as an inviting way to bring people up to the amenity floor, which is at the second level.
Yeah, and that amenity floor where people can use that technology that right on the outside there, and also on their phones, employees of the building, where they can book rooms, and everything's kind of self-contained through that app and that booking service, from the lights, the temperature, everything. Talk about that real quick.
Well, I would actually say it's a highly intelligent building. Yeah. It's taking all the systems that might have been separate or done by different companies, or you had to kind of go to different people to find. Or
have to call like the building engineer and try to get them on the phone to turn up the AC a couple degrees. That's all gone.
Yeah. So now you have it on your phone. It's an app that provides you access to the building. It allows you then to book rooms, to make reservations, to actually then control your environment. It controls the light quality in your room, the artificial daylight. It also controls the temperature in your space. And so this idea that all these systems use sensors and data to provide a healthier and kind of more space that's oriented to kind of a wellness. That's especially important after this post-pandemic.
Absolutely, and you also have more things that blend the neighborhood with the artwork that is throughout the building, where you've commissioned artists to come in and do the artwork. It's not like you just bought it from like a street fair. No, you have them come in, and you can see some of it behind you up here, but especially down in the lobby and on the second floor. And the technology used in those meeting areas and those common spaces about the temperature control or the lighting, that's throughout the whole building. Though you even talked about how the building can bring in fresh air from outside if the system decides it needs to, just to keep things clean and healthy for post-pandemic reasons.
Exactly. The idea that the office building of today really needs to think about the people that work in it. It's not thinking about the efficiency or the work product, but it's about making people feel inspired, stimulated,
want to come back to an office building,
exactly,
right?
And not stay at home in their apartment or their home, and really come back to collaborate with people, because we do think that is a secret sauce of
Absolutely.
what drives us forward. And so not only is it the systems make that experience seamless, healthier, but also the outdoor terraces that allow you to get outside and kind of connect back to nature, in terms of being out in the sun or being under a tree. The idea that you could have a place where you get food to refresh yourself, or the kind of rec center or rec club that you can actually exercise.
Right, that's incredible. The rec center that you have there, and the views are stunning. It's much different than, if people are living in the burbs and community of the city where they're working out in a strip mall. No, this is the complete opposite of that. You integrate it, it's all here, and then you have these incredible amenities. Something as simple as having light in the elevators just make you feel like you're not boxed in, where you type where you're going on the screen and it immediately tells you where the elevator. It's not like you're that waiting game where you think about, if you didn't position yourself right, then you're like 15 people behind. Right away where the elevator is going to go. You get up, and then you have other spaces like the one that we're standing in now, which is this big amenity space where the views of the west is incredible. You have the views of downtown. I mean, it's just a wonderful space to incorporate everything that you've done here.
Yeah, that I think that there's no question that the technology that is embedded in the building is really pretty sophisticated. But in the end, even like the rec club being exposed right at that second level, right in the corner of Halsted and West Fulton Market. There's a little bit of theater and feeling that you're part of the city. The elevators that you talked about, bringing light not only to the elevator lobby, but even into the cab, so you're not riding up an elevator looking at your feet. You actually
right. You can see the floors go right by you.
Yeah, right? You're in a space that feels, it's uplifting, and then coming out to a building where it's really trying to bring light to all sides of the spaces in a variety of spaces, where you had big floor plates. 35,500 square feet, down to 14,000 square feet, always with a terrace at every other floor. That's kind of a nice thing that, I would want to come work in this kind of space.
Right, and even people in the neighborhood that might not work here, there are amenities in the building that you don't have to work in the building that you can use, because it's a community gathering space as well. And although there are other things, for the bonus, for the people who are tenants, like the space we're in now, where you have this incredible space. I mean, it almost feels like a hotel in a way, and I mean that as a compliment, because when you're in a new boutique hotel, it's very inviting. It's got all these things that you would want in a hotel, but to have that as a work environment as well. That's incredible and well done there.
Well, why can't the place that you work feel like your home or feel like it's being hospitable to you, right? And so those are the things that we're trying to achieve with this building.
All right, so if people want to know more about the building, what's the best way for them to go about doing that?
Go to the website, 800fultonmarket.com.
Fantastic, Brian. Thank you very much, and congratulations. I can't wait to come back here and try things out.
Okay, thank you, Tom.